I don't even know how to take this next story. This just seems it seems like a waste situation, but I kind of understand why. Because Instagram is kind of a very leftist platform, so I can understand why they're doing this. But Instagram is reportedly testing a Twitter competitor, and the first leaked images indicate a summer release. Let's see, the Instagram for your thoughts being built by Meta is to compete with Elon Musk's Twitter, could launch as soon as next month, according to several reports. Meta is meeting with influencers to discuss the app's future, according to reports from Bloomberg, The Verge, the site Leah Haberman. Who is Leah Haberman?
A Substack writer who teaches about social and influencing marketing. Is that right?
I don't know. Let's see. Leah Haberman.
It literally says it.
I teach social influencing marketing in UCLA. I don't know. Interested in how people connect and.
It literally says it in the article after her name.
Does it? I wasn't even reading past that. Okay. So,
oh, that's what I just read.
my bad.
It's okay. I did that the other week, I think, where I said something and then the next sentence I read, I was like, I should have just kept reading, bro. Like, I forgot about that part.
Let's see. But yeah, it's citing conversations with the creator who met with Meta. Haberman confirmed some previously reported details about the app, including plans for it to be decentralized, reported by Platformer in March. She also reported that the app could be released as soon as next month. All right, so according to this thing right here, or this tab instead, it is trying to compete with Twitter. But I know how this is going to be. It's kind of like what Mastodon, like when Elon Musk was trying to buy Twitter, they were just like, oh no, come to Mastodon. And then Mastodon started banning every single person that was on that side. So they started banning themselves because there wasn't right-wing people on there. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be the same thing. Like Instagram is going to turn to shit very fast.
Well, you know what's interesting is Instagram just tends to copy everybody. Like, so when TikTok got really big and Instagram was realizing that they weren't able to compete with just their photos, well, then Reels came along. And, you know, I mean, like YouTube did the same thing with Shorts, obviously. But, I don't know. I feel like Instagram is much more geared towards copying, because then recently, within the last few months, I think they introduced like a subscription, like you pay for Meta and you get verified and you get a check mark, and it's the exact same thing that Twitter did. And now all of a sudden that makes a lot more sense too now, because they're trying to directly compete with Twitter. So it does make sense to me that like the Zuck wants to kind of create this platform to combat Elon Musk essentially, but it's just going to be a leftist echo chamber. Like we'll all go on there and we'll all argue and all the fun things. I don't think a lot of people will like. I don't think a lot of people who are right leaning or anti woke or whatever you want to classify it as are going to like flock over there. I think it's going to just be like, now I have to go on this other platform so that it's not a freaking echo chamber and I can, you know, kind of weed through all the crap. And maybe they won't, but I feel like that's a big reason why I'm like on TikTok still. Is TikTok like annoys me at this point. I don't watch it anymore. Like it's rare that I like actually scroll through TikTok. I tend to just go and I make my content maybe once or twice a week. If that. Today I posted like 3 videos on TikTok. It's a big TikTok day for me. But yeah. Well, it's just funny to me because like when I first started on there, I was posting so much, and then over time I was just like, bro, like I can't post this much. And my kids also just got older and louder. They run around a whole lot more. I used to be able to kind of like dip into the other room really quick, film a video, and then like, you know, and now they follow me. And stuff like that. So yeah, it's a bit more challenging, but and I don't like to like film when my kids are like screaming in the background and stuff like that. It makes me feel like a bad mom. But so yeah, but anyway, sorry, I got off track. Instagram, yeah, I think I'll be interested to see how this plays out. I was intrigued greatly when I read that article. I was like, well, we'll see how this goes, but they're not like they're not doing anything groundbreaking. They're just copying everybody. Yeah, and it was twice as much as it was twice as much as Twitter, and no one was mad at Meta. Yeah, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how, because when I read that, I was like, oh, look, they're copying Twitter. And then I looked at the price and I was like, it's like $15 a month. Who is paying for this? Like, I can't imagine what a business account is like over there, because on Twitter, it's like an organization is like $1,000 a month or something. It's crazy. And the whole thing is just silly.
And they bring on a WEF representative as the new CEO. I told y'all Elon Musk is not your hero.
Yeah, I think I might, I don't know. I'm going to see how this plays out, but if it starts going downhill real fast, because I pay for Twitter Blue right now, because I wanted to try it out, which I don't even really use a lot of the features. Like, I don't, because I actually, it annoys me to have to click on, like, because you can write longer posts, right? But it annoys me to have to click on the see more when I have to do it, and then to see like a whole scroll, which that's the other thing too, is this Instagram one, the character post can be like 500 characters, and that's quite a bit. And so it's like over double of what the original, like the OG Twitter was. And then you can have like
wasn't it
photos.
160 characters at the very beginning? Something like that for Twitter.
Was it 160 or 128? Because now it's 260 characters is the standard, and it used to be much smaller. It was even worse. You could like type like a sentence or two.
I feel like the old days of Twitter, I feel like, was where everybody started getting that love for short form, because you put out just a stupid idea with absolutely no context, and everybody loves it. You could say the most innocuous thing, and it makes no sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and Twitter's weird because, like, I only really started paying attention to it, like, I don't know, like, maybe 6 months ago. And before that, like, back in the day, I had a Twitter, like, way, way long ago. And it was, like, I, like, treated it, like, everybody around me treated it like Facebook, so you just be like, I'm going shopping, and it was stupid, and it didn't, like, nobody cared, and I was just like, at some point I deleted my old Twitter way back when, because I was like, this app is weird and I don't know how to use it, and I would just go to Facebook. But yeah, and then I started using it for, recently, and was like, oh, Twitter is crazy. That's what it is. Twitter is just a crazy place.
You boomer.
Yeah,
no, it is like the reverse chronological order thing. I mean, if everything just like popped up in place with things, like trying to follow somebody with an idea or a story or something, kind of like the Twitter files or some of the court cases that I'm kind of wrapping my mind around sometimes. Like following that, it's like you have to find the very first one of it and then follow through this thread, and the thread's over. Now we got to go back to the next one. That's probably 1,000 posts down to grab that. It's, oh my God, it gets annoying. I mean, I know you can bookmark these things, but why? Why is this a thing? Just let it all be in one section. If you could even like switch it instead of a thread, do it to where it could be like a section in their post or something, So there are people who are very, very good at crafting threads, and like you have to learn how to be good at that to, get them shared and get people interested and stuff like that. So there are people who are like experts at it, right? And then there are people who are just like trying. But like the Twitter files was really frustrating and has been really frustrating for me. Like I was going to do a video on it, and then it just got so big, and I was like, I don't feel like I want to devote this much time, because I would have to devote like days to like not only just compiling everything, but filming and all of the crazy editing. Like I kind of gave up, because I was like, and there was so much happening, and they kept waiting way too long. Like they should have had all of this set up. They should have had all the threads written out and saved as drafts and then posted. You know what I mean? But instead they were like,
I feel like some of them were like that, but then they would like live tweet a bunch of stuff too and add to it. And then there would be like thread, and then all of a sudden like a deleted post or a gap. And then you'd have to, and they have like apps on Twitter where you can do like thread reader, and it unrolls the thread and it basically puts it in a different spot and puts it all together. So you can just read it without having to deal with the threads. But yeah, if you don't know how to
get an
build
app
a thread,
just to do that, just
no,
have
it's
it
not
there.
It's not a separate app. It's like on Twitter. It's a bot on Twitter. And so you just tag the bot and then it just gives you the thing and it just takes you to like a different screen, I think. You know what I mean? Like, and you can read it all. That's how
it's still way too weird. I mean, like, even if you just like set folders for it, like this belongs in this folder, like the Twitter files for day one in this folder, or something like that. I think
what they should have done, and also it made it very difficult to follow the Twitter files because it was so many different people, and a lot of the times like Musk wouldn't always like retweet it and stuff. So I was just like, bro, like I have to figure out who's writing this. And a lot of the journalists I hadn't heard of prior to the Twitter files, right? Which is actually really funny because Matt Taibbi was a big one. And I recently just found a book that we purchased from Goodwill forever ago by Matt Taibbi. Like, it was super weird. I was just like, we have his book? And it's called like Griftopia or something like that. And I was intrigued to read it. But that's like I have so many things to get through before that. But it was just a funny thing. But yeah, so the whole thing just really frustrated me. And I still don't know if there's an actual like article I can go read somewhere that compiles all of that information. Like, I think maybe because Barry Weiss is part of the Free Press, or I think she created that publication. So maybe it's on there somewhere. Maybe I should go check it out. But yeah, the whole thing was just really frustrating in my opinion. I don't know if anybody else felt like that. I mean, you did, but
I mean, I can understand why they released it little segments at a time like that, because everything that they did, it was a different subject altogether. But yeah, it should have been in just like one area. You set it all up beforehand, and then you release it all at the same time, kind of situation. It should have already been set up like a draft, like you were saying. But just going through it live like that, it just got overwhelming. And I was just like, there's so much here. I need to just kind of like, I'm backing off and letting other people take care of that, because nah.
Yeah, like the people who like, I think the Quartering did a lot of that stuff live, and like he would go through it. And by the time, like, because I think I was going to do on the first set of Twitter files, and by the time I got around to being able to do all of that, the third, I think, was out, and that was huge. And I was like, I can't. I'm not this person. I'm not going to. This isn't something that I want to dedicate so much of my time towards when I have all these other things that I want to talk about instead. So it's just kind of, frustrating. But again, I don't know. If anybody knows of like an actual article that I could go just read literally all of the Twitter files in, please let me know, because I would like to do that. Because I definitely missed. Yeah, I missed a lot of that stuff. And that's that was the problem with the way they released it. They should have done it within the span of 1 week. They should have had everything lined up and just every single day did a new thing. But there were so many times where they'd be like, oh, we're doing a new Twitter file. And then nothing would happen. Nothing would come out. There'd be no comment about it. There'd be no explanation of why nobody's seeing it. I don't know. Whole thing. Anyway, I think it was just they dropped the ball big time on how they distributed that information.
Thanks for watching this clip of the Off Label Podcast. Look, we all hate to be told this, but just like me, everybody needs a reminder once in a while. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. Make sure this information keeps getting out there to people. We need to be able to start talking to each other once again in a good, healthy, conversational way.